Wilder just came up short. He'll live to fight another day. Me and him could still get it on. We could still get it cracking. I believe I'm a massive threat. I still think Wilder's a threat, and I still think it does amazing numbers.
So you heard it right there. Joshua still wants Wilder. Wilder, I predicted the card on, except I got one wrong. Wilder broke my streak of fight predictions from when I resurrected this channel in the summer, and you can go back and see all my predictions are on point. And finally the streak has been broken, but it makes it fun. But sadly, because I am a Wilder fan and I saw him fight the Finish Nightmare, and I got happy after that third Fury fight that Wilder could actually come back and rebuild a career and have an epic comeback at 38. But I got overexcited and I was really pumped up. No excuses. He lost that fight. Parker did an amazing job. And I'll tell you what, Wilder's best days are behind him, unfortunately. And he sustained so much hellacious beatings with those 3 Fury fights. And I said that before, but I thought he could come back with the big magic eraser, like Teddy Atlas says, the big punch, and change and turn things around and come back and get in there if Joshua got through the fight, which I did say Joshua would have trouble psychologically if Joshua didn't, if he was really tested in there, but I said I would go with Joshua. So my fight prediction that is wrong on this card was Wilder. Bivol went much like I expected. We'll get into all that. Stick around, we'll talk about it, but I'll tell you why Millionaire moves, why Joshua and Hearn would likely throw, why it's not shock in post-fight press conference, the clip we just saw here, why Joshua would still want to fight Wilder. Let's talk about it, because that's the fight that might happen. Wilder looks content in his loss. Wilder was in there talking about he does things outside of the ring I don't even want to talk about, but you heard him, and he's enjoying life. But I think an athlete like Wilder at 38 and the beatings he took, it's his best days are clearly, we got answers, clearly behind him. But he still has that big George Foreman Tyson punch that is rare, which he could still draw people, and people will still pay to watch him fight against Joshua. So this is about money. There's money to be had, and there's a promotion there. And especially now, Joshua saw what we all watched. Joshua is very probably enthusiastic about fighting Wilder, because you could see he could be beaten, and you can avoid that right hand and his other left hook if he's going to throw that in after. Usually he will hurt a guy with the right hand and then connect with a left. So Joshua does have the skills set to beat a 38-year-old Wilder if he can avoid the punches, because Wilder is, like I said, his best days are behind him. Joshua still has a lot more in the tank. I think he's 34 now. Wilder's beatings, the Finish Nightmare, I thought he could continue, because he took the Finish Nightmare out of there quick, so you really didn't see Wilder fading because there was not much to judge by. But here we have a full-on long fight. Parker did an amazing job. Parker did a great job. No excuses. When you're predicting fights and stuff like that, people tend to hang on to the one fight prediction you got wrong, but they overlook your entire history, your archive. So it's right here on the channel. Wilder broke the streak, but then again, I did predict the rest of the card right here on this channel. And so, Bivol did the predictable, wrapping this up as far as the card goes. And we're going to talk about, don't go anywhere, we're going to talk about the Joshua Wilder fight, which probably will happen, but in my opinion, I think Wilder should call it a day. But anyway, Bivol looked really good. Much of his fights looked the same. I think Arthur was trying his best, but Bivol got a spectacular jab. He has a great style. He doesn't need to change much, because what he does in there all the time, why it looks the same, is it works. As Canelo found out, Canelo Alvarez. He's just a really, really good fighter. And he does things correct in the ring. He's got speed, he's got enough jab, he's got enough pop, but he doesn't get knockouts, and they were pressuring for a knockout. But knockouts, although knockouts are marketable, they're exciting. As Floyd Mayweather proved, you could be a superstar, sell pay-per-views, because everyone loved to hate him and they wanted to see him lose. But you could win fights without having knockouts, and still it could be very lucrative. Just not as exciting, of course. The sweet science is there. Bivol looks really good, and it's going to be really exciting to see what happens with Bivol, with Benavidez. I'm saying the name wrong. In the future, they're going to set up a fight with, what's his name, Arthur. It's going to look good. So anyway, I think that Wilder really didn't look shocked when in the ring, in post-fight, the interview inside of the ring, when the guy asked him, "Hey, listen, you considering retiring?" And then he didn't go, "Oh, what? I'm not retiring." He looked like, "Okay, yeah, maybe I will." So he's showing all the signs of he said it himself, a happy fighter. He has money. He says he's invested his money wisely, thank God. Thank goodness, good for him, millionaire moves. But still, there's a lot of money to be made with the Joshua fight. That's why Joshua and Hearn, if Joshua's calling out, Hearn's behind it too. Said in the top of the video when we started, hey, I'll fight Wilder still. So what, he lost? Because it's still exciting. Because like Teddy Atlas says, the magic eraser, I call it the Tyson Foreman rarefied air knockout power that Wilder has. It's still a draw. People are still going to pay. A lot of Brits especially are going to toss up money. A lot of Americans are going to want to watch too. Worldwide, the excitement of Wilder's possibly hitting Joshua on the chin. But as Joseph Parker proved, the right hand can be avoided. And, he can avoid his punches. Usually when Wilder would hurt someone really bad, he'd connect with a right and then he would throw a left. But you got to get the right hand in there. Joshua has the skill to avoid a diminished Wilder's right hand, as Parker did, and you can't get caught clean a lot. And it's going to be very difficult. But anything could happen. But I would advise Wilder, if you care about him, I like him. He's a real good guy outside of the ring. If you want to see him, not permanently damaged, because he's already diminished and damaged from those 3 fights. The hellacious beatings he took from Tyson Fury. That definitely put Wilder where he's at right now. And he's definitely, doesn't take a rocket scientist. The doctor could tell you to figure out what's going to happen with Wilder if he sticks around anymore. He sticks around too long in the boxing game. He gets into his 40s, slurred speech, problems, with motor skills. These fighters suffer greatly if they stick around too long and take too many headshots. So I don't want to see that happen to Wilder. So I would say, Wilder, call it a day. If you're in his corner, you don't need these extra millions. You got good investments. Is it worth it? But then it's up to the man himself. He's competitive, but it looked like he was content with a retirement, like I said before. So in my opinion, I think Wilder, as much as it hurts to say, because I want to see the excitement, the power, I want to see him come back, but I think he shouldn't be fighting anymore. I think he should call it a retirement. Even if he came back and beat Joshua, it's still a big risk. And anything's possible. Wilder could come back and take out Joshua, but it would have to be via knockout. He's not going to win a decision on Joshua. That is Deontay Wilder. So I would like to see Wilder call it a day. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but damn, after those 3 Tyson fights and he got the 1 win, like I said, I wanted to see a great comeback story. I got caught up emotionally. Yes, I did. But I just got to call it like I see it. When I looked into his eyes when he was getting interviewed and his body language, it looked like it's a wrap. The hunger is gone with Deontay Wilder. He doesn't have that eye of a tiger anymore. Whereas even as rich as Joshua is, he still has that competitive edge that would probably carry him into a Wilder fight and possibly win. So we'll see what happens. I just think it's not fair when a fighter sticks around too long, and I don't want to see it. Because I think in his prime, Wilder beats Joshua all the time. But now, after what I witnessed and after the abuse that he's sustained in that ring with the punches, I just think it's a wrap. Continuing on, I just think that Wilder, he should call it a day because Anthony Joshua is more hungry. And based on what we've seen, it looks like Wilder is pretty much done. I don't know. It just doesn't look like he's hungry anymore. Really sad to see that. But you always see your best fighters at some point, their careers come to an end. And it's never pretty. And when they stick around too long, Holyfield and so many others, Roy Jones Jr., literally fighting in his 50s, nobody wants to see that nonsense. Well, people do because there's some people behind it. I don't know who. I'm not one of them. But nobody wants to see that. So while Wilder looks somewhat healthy still, the long-term effects of the fights with the Fury fight and the boxing over the years, hopefully he doesn't get any more damage or sustain any more long-term damage. So he should not fight anymore. And if people care about him in his corner, his people around him, his camp, his trainers, his corner, his loved ones, they should definitely say, hey, Wilder, Deontay, you did it all, man. You did it all. You had the heavyweight championship. You're good. Do you really need a couple more million fighting again? So we'll see what happens. But that's why Joshua feels confident in wanting to see that fight, and his promoter Hearn. They like to see that fight come to fruition because it's more money, of course. And it's a great notch on Joshua's belt to have Wilder on that resume. So anyway, Bivol looks spectacular. I can't wait to see him move forward, to see what happens. Miller, too much weight, you know. He got a good style because I like that throwback style, the pressure, but he's never going to be the same again after that loss. But they'll throw him in there. He'll have another fight. But he took in that Miller fight, he took so many shots. Dubious. I'm saying his name wrong. I know I am, but whatever. He took too many punches clean. If you're looking at that fight, Daniel landed way too many clean punches on Miller. Too many punches, and it's not good. I have no notes in front of me, everyone. There's a million fighters out there, so this is all off the head. I don't have any notes. I'm not looking at any records or anything. So this is just a frank boxing discussion, just like I'm talking to a friend in the room. And, you know, there's so many names, so many fighters. But Bivol looks spectacular. He always does. So I want to see that fight coming up with the Russian. I believe the dude's Russian. That's going to be the dude with the beard. It's going to be a really good fight. Benavidez, Bivol, whatever. Bivol versus him. I don't know. It's going to be good. Miller, he'll be back most likely. He needs to lose weight. He took the fight at short notice, but he took way too many clean shots. You cannot do that throughout the course of 12 rounds. Had such a chin for all those rounds, and the nut finally got cracked in the 12th round. Yeah, Joshua still has some exciting fights ahead, so he can definitely make some moves in there. And we'll see where Tyson Fury's at. He's another one, a lot of questions now. That is after that fight we saw and all that money he has. So ironically, in the end, we'll see what happens. Maybe out of this era of heavyweights, maybe it's Anthony Joshua that ends up the guy that lost to Andy Ruiz via KO when he came to New York in the U.S. for the first time. Maybe it's him that, when the dust clears, that ends up being the champ. We'll see what happens. Don't want to know only at some point. So interesting stuff. So we'll see what happens. So that's it. It was a good fight, heavyweight card. It was fun. It was exciting. And I think it was worth the money if you paid for it. And that's a wrap. And I'll be back with another one very soon.